A big guest today on Oilers Nation Every Day on the Star Mechanical guest line, but we can't call it the guest line because we're in person. Yes. You know him, Chris Pronger, former NHL defenseman, and you're here to talk a little bit about this bad boy, the JRNY whiskey.
The JRNY. We're here.
We're and your live. Brother Sean started
We're in Alberta.
It is an absolutely beautiful bottle.
Thank you.
We are going to talk a little bit of hockey.
Award-winning design, by the way. Award-winning.
Really? Did you? Yes. You did the first draft yourself?
We actually did. Yeah. Really? We did the branding, the marketing, the liquid is all from the barrel to these lips.
Take us through the name, because I was perusing through your social media earlier, and I like the way you kind of have the shout outs to different players and their journeys and things like that. Why did you settle on this name?
Well, the JRNY. If you look at the back of the bottle, our tagline is celebrate the victories, be proud of your scars, and enjoy the journey. And really, this is just about everyone's own unique journey in life. What's the first thing you want to do when you have a bad day? You want to pour a glass of whiskey and you want to tell somebody about it. You want to tell your family, your friends. You have a great day. You win the Stanley Cup. What are you going to do? You're going to pour yourself a glass of whiskey. You're going to tell somebody all about it. So it's really just about celebrating and enjoying life's journey. We're all on our own unique path, and certainly everyone's journey in life is going to be different. So this is a way for us to be a part of the conversation and tell a story.
Sorry, go ahead,
I was going to say, so I guess what's the journey been for this? When did this all begin, and how did you get to this point?
Well, it's been a labor of love for the past 35 plus years, but a lot of research and development has gone into this bottle, this liquid. But really over the last 2.5 years or so, we started talking about doing this, and then went live and started in Missouri about 8 months ago. And now we're Missouri, Southern Illinois, New York, just got into Texas. We're in Ontario, and now we're launched in Alberta. So those are kind of our 5 core markets, and we'll be kind of expanding from there.
You didn't perhaps debate launching in Alberta in like July or something? You really wanted
it
to come
would have
in March?
been nicer, but with the oil getting off to a very poor start, and now rocking and rolling and on a heater, so to speak, it's nice to be here right now.
It's celebratory whiskeys for Oilers fans right now.
It is.
You were at the game last night. What did you make of, for lack of a better phrase, the shit stomping the Oilers?
Yes, that was a oil stomping of sorts. Yeah, they look good. Pittsburgh, not so much. I think there's some mitigating factors apparently as to the egg that was laid by the Penguins, but they're an aging team. They've obviously had their runs, and their superstars are getting up there in age. So that's kind of how the league works.
Yeah. I want to keep talking about the whiskey, but we're on hockey right now.
Yeah.
And we can't have you on without getting some stories from 2006. Obviously, fan base hoping that this year's Oilers can give us the longest run we've had in 18 seasons now. Yeah. But when you think back to that 06
long time ago, right? 18 years ago. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
We were definitely not doing an internet show last time the Oilers went on that run. But when you think about the fan base and how electric this city was, what's maybe the first moment or memory that pops into your head from that run and just how the city bought in?
Well, I think just being in the building last night and seeing the energy and the vibe in the building, the passion the fans have obviously for the team. You think back 18 years ago to the run we went on, and just how the city came together, how loud the building was. Arguably the loudest building I've been in. Just the excitement and the passion of the fans, and just how everybody came together. And it was a magical run, that heartbreaker game 7, but it was a tremendous learning experience, and great to be a part of, and great to see the city be able to showcase and come out and cheer us on each and every night.
Yeah, we got to experience it a couple of times, not going quite as far, but the Western Conference a few years ago was pretty fun despite getting swept. What was something you took from that 06 run into that run with the Ducks the following season?
I think just having that experience of being in the finals and kind of you hear people talk about just the noise and the distractions and things of that nature, and just how focused you have to be blocking. You get a lot of ticket requests, you get a lot of people wanting to come out, especially as you get closer to potentially winning.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to kind of partition that and segment people off and really stay focused on the task at hand. Obviously, you're there to play hockey and win a Stanley Cup. And, I think that year in Anaheim where we won. It was when I was here in Edmonton. We beat them in the conference finals to go to the Stanley Cup finals. So they had a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and when I got there, it was just it's cup or bust. And it was a belief and a single mindset of everybody on the team that we were going to win. And everybody bought into what we needed to do to be successful, much like that team the previous year in Edmonton.
One guy that this year's Oilers team has brought in for a little bit of that experience is Corey Perry. Is it kind of funny for you to sit there?
Yeah.
Obviously, he was
young buck back then.
He was the young buck. What were your early memories of that young Corey Perry?
He's greasy, that's for sure. I think Oilers fans will see him scoring within a 5-foot radius around the crease, and I think he adds that little bit of grit. And as I mentioned, grease around the net. You see some of the moves that he can make, and his ability to kind of find a way to score goals. I think that's that added element that they need in that third and fourth line. A little bit of production that you need in the playoffs to be successful. Your top two lines are going to probably cancel out the other top two lines, and really it boils down to what that third and fourth line can do from a production standpoint.
You obviously went on runs with Philly. We just talked about Anaheim, and we've heard at times from players, it's nothing like a playoff run in Canada. When you're in the moment as a player, do you feel any sort of difference, or are you just so focused on the task at hand that it's just kind of like whatever?
Well, I think you can feel it building. I think that run 18 years ago that you mentioned, you could feel it building with each playoff series win, and just the excitement in the community, and everybody getting behind the team and cheering us on. Electric Avenue was electric. It was pretty cool to see how fired up everybody was and how much fun everybody was having. I mean, that at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and then to be able to see everyone buy in the way they did, and be able to soak it all up and enjoy the moment was pretty cool.
Last one I have for you on the 06 team, because I know people in our chat will be clamoring for this kind of stuff. Obviously, you cornerstone piece of the blue line. The way Rolison played, massive. The spring of Fernando was just insane. Was there anyone on that team who, maybe if it wasn't even on the ice, maybe it was behind the scenes, so you think maybe doesn't get enough love for how crucial they were to that run?
Well, I think when you look at the goaltending, and obviously Rolly was a big part of it, but Juicy Markkanen, when Rolly got hurt in game one, you could argue we didn't really lose because of our goaltending. Yeah. He played incredible. Having not played in 2 months, to be able to step in and play as well as he did was pretty impressive. You talk about Pye's run. I just think the depth and the belief that we had guys blocking shots with their face. We had guys, the will and desire to win up and down the lineup. Guys coming in and out of the lineup. Everybody was willing to do their part and play, big or small role, and be a piece of the puzzle to try to be successful and win that cup.
Edmonton was the only Canadian team you played for. This is a Canadian whiskey. So let's talk about your history with Canada at the
this is a very authentic Canadian whiskey. Two authentic Canadians, cornerstones of the product, my brother Sean and I. And growing up in Dryden, Ontario, this whiskey has been a big piece of our upbringing. And it's something we felt like when we were approached by Niagara Falls Craft Distillers, who's our partner in this, about doing this. We talked about the liquid and kind of what we would do and how we would change it, as opposed to some of the other ones out there in the marketplace that we used to drink, and how we would improve it. And we've been able to do that. A little note on how we came about the liquid. We would get shipped samples. Not an easy process, as you might imagine. And we would FaceTime each other. He lives in California. I live in St. Louis, and FaceTime each other and try it and be like, okay, what do you like? What do you don't like? We did that 3 times. And then on the third try, we both took a sip, looked at each other on the phone. We're like, this is it. We found it.
So for maybe the whiskey connoisseurs out there, what are some of the subtle things they'll notice with this?
We got a little spice, a little sweetness, none of that harsh burn going down. It's a very smooth whiskey. A little hint of vanilla, hint of cinnamon. So we kind of touch a lot of the flavor profiles out there, but it sits on the palate nice. And by that I got a friend of mine in St. Louis that likes to say the third sip is the closer.
There you go.
That seals the deal.
How long until this kind of gets across Canada and is available everywhere for everyone?
We are working on that process. I think we're working on BC and Manitoba next.
Okay.
But, right now we're focused on Ontario and Alberta.
For the people watching who want to know where they can get their hands on it, I did the
Yes.
test. You can go to liquorconnect.com, type in the JRNY whiskey, and boom, the kind of interactive map on Liquor Connect can show you the closest liquor store.
Nice. Good to
you
know.
Pick it up. There
Good
you
to
go.
know. We'll be at Sobeys, Safeway, Sundial, Wine and Beyond. There's
Pretty
a
much
few
everywhere.
I mean, we're ramping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closer for this, I want to talk a little bit about your history at the Olympics. It is crazy to think you played in 4 Olympics
I
for
did.
Team Canada, but 2010, I mean, that one has to be kind of the crown jewel moment with the way things
Yeah,
went
it
there.
ranks up there certainly of any victory that I've been a part of, any championship. Obviously on home soil, for that to be the 25th gold medal and the most gold medals in Olympic Games for Canada was pretty cool. On home soil, as I mentioned, Vancouver showed out. It was they did a great job hosting the Olympics that year, and just to have friends and family there and to be able to celebrate. As I mentioned, and in Canada with everybody watching the game, it was really cool to be a part of.
Celebratory whiskeys and the athletes.
It would have
village,
been
I imagine,
nice
are
to.
pretty-
Have that, yeah.
And by the way, that is quite the journey I was on, wasn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
uh,
Obviously, just the talent on that team was nuts, like
Yeah.
for any Canadian Olympic team. But
Yeah.
was there someone on that team who was maybe surprised you a little bit with maybe the habits off the ice or even on the ice, stuff like that?
No, I think one of the things that I think stands out to me the most is Patrice Bergeron was our 13th forward, and I don't know why they did this, but we would have an important defensive zone faceoff, and they'd put him out for that. He hadn't played in like 8 minutes, and I'm like, this guy's used to playing 20, 22 minutes a night. Now he's riding the bench, and we've got an important faceoff in our zone, and now you're going to throw him out there. Almost like it's like, well, we haven't played you, but here, go do this. And I don't know about most people, but let me guess. As you might imagine, he lost the draw,
Yes.
and then it was like, well, I thought you were good on faceoffs, like, but you haven't been playing, and you're used to kind of being in the flow and the rhythm of the game. It can kind of throw you out of whack. So you feel for guys like that are put in those positions almost for failure. But I think you look at that lineup up and down, young, old, guys in their peak, guys, aging veterans. And, my roommate was Drew Doughty. I think it was 3rd year in the league.
Yeah.
So, it kind of runs the gamut, but it was a fun team to be a part of. And I think as you look at that locker room and kind of see the cast of characters and kind of what they've gone on to do, it's been pretty impressive.
and that journey at the Olympics
Yes.
ended with the golden goal. You
Yeah.
remember what was going through your head as Crosby popped that in? Or is it just like one of those moments
I
where
was,
you black out?
I was kind of standing up. My back was getting sore, and I was standing up on the bench. I think Pierre McGuire might have been in between the two benches. And when I saw it go in, he gave me a big slap on the back, and we all ran. It was, you kind of did it go in, and then you just seeing everybody celebrate. So it was pretty cool.
Pretty great stuff. The JRNY Canadian whiskey, again, Liquor Connect. You can look it up and find the closest liquor store to you. Just to wrap up on this, how cool has it been doing this with your brother? Does it almost in a way make it a little bit easier than doing it with like a business partner? I'd imagine you guys can be pretty blunt with each other.
We are very, yes, we are very blunt. Nobody's pulling any punches, but it's been great. I think we've hammed and nagged it really good. We've both got our positive and negatives about us, but no, it's been fun. We were looking to kind of do something together for a while, and when this was kind of thrown in front of us, we thought about it for a little bit, and we're like, yeah, this would be pretty cool.
All right, Chris, appreciate your time today. Thanks
Awesome.
for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.